Welcome to Mrs. Feighery's Honors U.S. History 2, Chapter 27, Video Number 1, titled Empire and Expansion. From the end of the Civil War to the 1880s, the United States was very isolationist. In the 1890s, due to rising exports, manufacturing capability, power, and wealth, it began to expand onto the world stage. America began to use overseas markets to sell its goods. The Yellow Press, or Yellow Journalism, of Joseph Pulitzer and William Randolph Hearst also influenced overseas expansion. People were interpreting Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest to mean that the United States was the fittest and needed to take over other nations in order to improve them. Such events were already happening as Europeans had carved up Africa and China by this time. In America, Captain Alfred Thayer Mahan's 1890s book, The Influence of Sea Power Upon History, argued that every successful world power once held a great navy. This book helped start a naval race among the great powers and moved to the United States and caused them to look to expand overseas and increase naval supremacy. James G. Blaine pushed his big sister policy, which sought better relations with Latin America, and in 1889 he presided over the first Pan-American Conference, which was held in Washington, D.C. However, in other diplomatic affairs, America and Germany almost went to war over the Samoan Islands, over whom could build a naval base there. Italy and America almost fought due to the lynching of 11 Italians in New Orleans. And the United States and Chile almost went to war over the deaths of 2 American sailors in 1892. The new aggressive mood was also shown by the U.S.-Canadian argument over seal hunting near islands off the coast of Alaska. An incident with Venezuela and Britain wound up strengthening the Monroe Doctrine. British Guiana and Venezuela had been disputing their border for many years, but when gold was discovered, the situation worsened. Thus, the U.S., under President Grover Cleveland, sent a note written by Secretary of State Richard Olney to Britain, informing them that the British actions were trespassing over the Monroe Doctrine and that the United States controlled all things in the Americas. The British replied by stating that the affair was none of the United States' business. Cleveland angrily replied by forming a committee to devise a new boundary, and if Great Britain would not accept it, then the U.S. implied that it would fight for it. Britain didn't want to fight because of the damage to its merchant trade that could result. The Dutch Boers of South Africa were about to go to war, and Germany's Kaiser Wilhelm was beginning to challenge Britain's power. Seeing the benefits of an alliance with the Yankees, Great Britain began a period of patting the eagle's head instead of America twisting the lion's tail. This was referred to as the Great Rapprochement or Reconciliation between the United States and Great Britain. From the 1820s, when the first U.S. missionaries came, the United States had always liked the Hawaiian Islands. Treaties signed in 1875 and 1887 guaranteed that commercial trade and the U.S. rights to priceless Pearl Harbor, while Hawaiian sugar was very profitable. But in 1890, the McKinley Tariff raised the prices on this sugar, and Americans felt that the best way to offset this was to annex Hawaii, a move which was opposed by its queen, who is pictured here. But in 1893, desperate Americans in Hawaii revolted. They succeeded, and Hawaii seemed ready for annexation, but Grover Cleveland became president again, and he had disagreed with the coup. He delayed the annexation of Hawaii until he basically left office. Cleveland was bombarded for stopping Manifest Destiny, but his actions proved to be honorable for him and for America. In 1895, Cuba revolted against Spain, citing years of misrule. The Cubans torched their sugarcane fields in hopes that such destruction would either make Spain leave or America interfere. America supported Cuba, and the situation worsened when Spanish General Valeriano Butcher Weyler came to Cuba to crush the revolt. He ended up putting many civilians into concentration camps, and he killed many. The American public clamored for action, especially when spurred on by the yellow press, but Cleveland would do nothing. These are the works cited in making of this video. All images used in this video are from the public domain.